Out, give it a shot. Oh, he's gone. Andrew Kirwan's gone.
Sound. Are you ready?
Yeah, let me check my phone's going. Yep. Yeah, we're going loud and clear.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Boys Gone Wild. I've got another guest from my past. I guess I'm sort of trailing through kind of past lovers and kind of, I think, more telling my story through my relationship with these people. So please welcome to the stage the wonderful
That's not the
Andrew Kirwan.
Yeah, I wouldn't say wonderful is the first word.
No, I don't think that's the one that comes to mind.
No.
Yeah, this is Andrew Kirwan.
I appreciate it.
Go on.
It just kind of makes me... It sounds like you're talking at my eulogy or something, because
Yeah.
I get it, you're talking to people that you met from the past, but like some of us have moved on and are doing different things. It almost sounds like you feel sorry for us because we're no longer in the limelight, in the gravitational pull that is Horatio Gould. But
yeah, it's tough. Yeah, no,
it's not as tough as you think.
More. I understand what it's like. So this is Andrew. We went to school and uni together and made comedy, did silly sketches, did a student radio show for 3 years, and then Andrew sort of chose financial crime over comedy for a period.
Do? You know, sometimes you've got to pick where your talents lie and what means the most.
But you guys might be wondering who the fuck Andrew is, because I've been getting comedians on this show, and it's normally the people watching this are other comedians, and they'll have some idea of what the fuck the person calling in. Normally you on these sort of podcasts you'd get experts on, people with some sort of know-how on coronavirus or anything like that. But to them you are literally just a dude.
Just a guy in his bedroom.
Just a dude on his webcam.
He'd have a good old chat.
To most people, if they didn't know our history and just came on, it would be a bit of an insult to my viewership that I haven't got anyone with any sort of reason to be on a podcast just calling in.
An insult to your viewership. Is this how you? So this is part of your introduction to most guests on your show, or is this?
No, normally I have a comedian. You can check out their stuff on YouTube. They've been doing a lot of good stuff for many years. I'm sure you, and they'll watch it and be like, oh, I'm a big fan of his. Let's check out what he's done. But to all intents and purposes, you're a dude with his webcam in his mum's study, just calling it in.
I kind of prefer to practice my comedy's far more artistic in the fact that I don't have to, film myself and put on some silly glasses and a backwards cap and make sound effects.
To make people
like
me.
I've sold out.
To make people like
me.
Comedy is, it's with your friends. It's chatting to everyone on the street. It's not smoking your vape like it's a fucking cigarette.
So you're saying you're more of a street comedian?
Yeah, I'm like a busker most of the time, Well, to be fair, actually...
The real comedy.
The real comedy, but there was... my ex-girlfriend, Horatio's also friend, we were talking about... I mentioned observational comedy, and she thought that observational comedy was when a comedian would take a tour of people round a city and make jokes about the city.
Oh my God! That's so stupid. Or is he?
Yeah, is he Tunley Low?
That is dumb as fuck.
Yeah, no,
that's so stupid.
It's drivel. But that's what
that is crazy. But observational comedies,
some insanity in what she thought it was. That's the truth that speaks to me in my comedy. Of I don't need a stage. I don't need fans. I don't need anyone listening. But I'm always going to be practicing it.
Yeah.
One silly face, face in the mirror in the morning. Boom, I'm in. That's all I need.
But if you're interested in this, it's absolutely fire dynamic and want to see more of it, do check out our student radio show. It's all on YouTube. I think it's some pretty good stuff. I think we changed the medium forever.
I think so. I think so. There was I know because I was listening to it just before I came on. To remember when we used to be friends or like even just spoke to each other, and
remotely talk to each other.
or just had a mutual respect or anything. But
that went before the friendship, though, I think.
Well, it went towards the end of the radio show as well. But there was a lot.
You can hear it in the later episodes.
You can, yeah. Just kind of put like the rock of life just weighing us down. But there was a lot of energy there, and it was just like comparing that podcast to probably what this is going to be, and even your podcast. There's so much sadness now. I feel like we were young, sprightly boys, like laughing about poo, and
it's good stuff. You got me again. And that was the biggest genuine laugh I've had. I've been doing a comedy podcast for over a month now, and you just said the word poo, and that was the most realistic laugh I've had in months.
I'm a purist. What can I say?
Comedy about poo.
There was one bit on our radio show where we were talking about how I was very behind on the news, but we essentially did this whole segment about how we didn't have enough time to read the news because we went to uni, and there's some very blissfully ignorant bits that you can look back on, and it's a very strange thing to have 3 years of your life catalogued on a weekly basis.
Every week, pretty much during term time, we had a show of us goofing around but it does progress from those first shows. We started off quite nervous, and then we kind of got into the swing, and we hit like a prime and maybe second year where there's so much spunk in our shoes. Is that a saying? Spunk in your shoes?
Well, it's a saying.
It's a saying. Well, I think it's colliding too.
Spunk in your shoes.
And there really is a youthful. You're right. There's a real youthful verve in. There's so much bright-eyed hope for the future, and then third year set in and the reality of adulthood, and you just feel. I think in many ways it got funnier, but there was less hope. It was a lot darker. And I feel now it's not quite as dark, this sort of vibe, as the final couple of shows for the Gordon Cohen show. But it's more a state of acceptance.
Yeah, I think what's happened there is we've just misunderstood each other, because I wasn't saying that.
What?
No, I was saying that I was just looking back. I wasn't dissecting year by year. I was saying I feel like now, maybe it's just me that's sad and darker, but I'm saying, I'm saying I even listened to season 3. There was energy, there was spunk.
Yeah.
Whether it be in the shoes or whether it not be in the shoes, but there was something. Yeah. There was life, and now here we are sitting in our bedrooms on different sides of Sussex. Some of us wearing backwards hats. And can you talk me through the glasses? Because I'm not on Instagram because I'm not a 4-year-old.
Yeah. Sure.
So what? But I've heard this is a staple thing. Do you?
Who's told you? Is it been passing around on the grapevine?
It's been. I don't want to name names, but one of them would be Izzy Tunley Lowe.
Name and shame them.
Izzy Tunley Lowe, Max Paterson. Yeah. These are people that have said
these are big names.
Big names. But so talk me through them. What do they mean to you?
It's just classic chat, isn't it?
I'd say no more. Yeah, thank you. I think that's the viewers I'm sure are satisfied with that answer.
No, I really liked there was a filter that I saw someone use on Instagram with those orange sunglasses and a kind of pencil moustache, and I was like, that really embodies what I want to be. So I took a picture of that. I saw that, and I was like, that's what I'm trying to sell as my personal brand. And then I realised I had so many pairs of those sunglasses at home. They're not mine. I assume they're my dad's.
Yeah.
But I think fully polarised sports sunglasses are the funniest sunglasses around.
Yes.
Because they're so practical, because they stay on your head no matter what you're doing. They sort of remind me of like those PE teachers we had when we were like 12, like the kind of cricket coaches who at the time represented sort of authority and health, but now it's kind of fucked up that they like to take out so much dominance on literal teenagers.
Well,
but I think we've done enough. I think if you don't know who Andrew is by now, then you'll never know who he is. So I think we've done enough introduction. Oh, how's the alcoholism going?
Not good. Lockdown is not a good time for the burgeoning alcoholics. you know, there's many beers to be had, and there's a lot of time to have them in.
there's many beers to be had, I think, is the talk of an alcoholic.
Well, I had a wine phase for a bit. I was sipping on that red vino, and that makes you, when you're drinking a more sophisticated drink, part of you, you know, thinks I'm not a degenerate, I'm a connoisseur. But that as you drink
red wine out of a beaker at 9 in the morning.
So yeah, it's like lockdown. No, is not good. And there's a whole thing of the biggest clickbait for me in this time is there's loads of articles going around saying, is your ex normal? Is your exercise normal in lockdown? Is your eating normal in lockdown? But the biggest...
So what hooks you in the most?
Is your drinking normal in lockdown?
Interesting.
And it's one of those... It's like you click on it to be reassured, but you're not when you end up finishing the article.
Really? What? Because it basically should have just said no.
Well, they're saying they're being, because it's like a BBC News.
Does anyone come back from another angle, which is like, maybe alcohol isn't bad for you? Is there any angle? Well, because I've been trying to turn this podcast into a bit of I think I've become a bit of a beacon for young men after a couple of episodes where I took it I went quite.
The problem with you having a singular podcast is that you can say things like, I've become a beacon for young men, and have no one reply to what you're talking about. I've become a beacon for young men.
I think this has become a real symbol for young lost men who
are you trying to say I'm your audience? Is this what you're trying to say?
No, I'm not trying to say you're my audience. But I think I didn't know what this podcast was going to be when I started it, but now I realise it's a male self-care podcast, which is about teaching men how to be physically and mentally healthy. And that's why I've got you on the show to talk about your alcohol problem. Because we're going to discuss, because there's probably going to be a lot of fucking washed up cunts like you who will be watching the show as well.
Are we done with the intro part? I feel what you're saying. I also believe you have an incredible Messiah complex.
It's growing.
I mean,
every I get stronger.
I mean, I don't know what your parameters of what a symbol or a beacon.
Over 100 views.
Yeah,
over 100 views.
That was my general point.
If
that's
consistently over 100
being
views.
A Messiah is, who am I to shit on you? You know, God bless you. God bless you, sir.
Jesus was only hitting 200, so it's like, I think above Messiah. A Messiah is above 100 consistently on YouTube.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, could Jesus pull in a singular pod on YouTube during lockdown? You know, could he do it?
Doesn't have the chat. I mean, he could do Sermon on the Mount, but that's sort of live work.
Yeah, it's a different thing. You know, it's a completely different art form.
I've seen a lot of comedians who are absolute killers on stage.
Yeah.
Try and transfer to the solo podcast game, and it's a different skill set. You don't, in many ways it's harder, in some ways it's easier, because you don't have that sort of audience to be playing. Like Jesus during the Sermon on the Mount, he was looking at the front row. He had that kind of vibe. He could see if people were losing interest at the back.
Yeah, and
that's what isn't talked about enough about Jesus in the Bible. Is he was a master at kind of controlling the crowds and sort of making everyone feel involved.
Yeah.
Because a lot of preachers at the time would kind of play to the front rows and the people at the back, because it's a mount, so it's a a very big stage. Yeah.
Are you going to explain to me a mount, or can we continue?
No, we can move on. It wasn't for you, Drew. It's for the
viewers.
I literally have invalids watching this. Genuinely. Yeah, genuinely. I'm big in the. I did a stand-up clip about having learning difficulties, and that's got the most response out of anything I've done with messages.
I'm starting to understand it.
Yeah,
now.
So really dumb, fucking mentally disabled
drooling
kids,
kind of on their toes,
messaging me saying that we're the same. I'm like, dude, come on, like.
I
was doing it in jest. But don't lump me in with you.
To be a Messiah, you have to also embody some of the characteristics of the people that are following to you. You know, Jesus is half man, half God. And I guess that makes you half relatively funny and half mentally disabled.
Is Jesus half man, half God?
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't think he is.
Well, that's a.
Well, I guess his dad's God. So.
No, he's
his
he's half
inherited
man, half God. That's like is the divinity or the trinity of the Christ or something. He's half man, half God.
Can you? Can any? Because you're not Christian.
Well,
Anyone who is Christian? Can any fucking Crizzos? Can you message below if you view Jesus as a demigod?
It's not a demigod. I don't think he's.
That's what demigod is.
Yeah, I know, but it's
Hercules,
specific. He's
demigod.
like he's half man. He's of man flesh because he was alive as a man. Yet he is also still Messiah.
Why
God.
are you saying it like you're doing a spoken word rap? I'm sorry.
I come here and I educate you about the history of religion,
Yeah.
and I get told that I'm nothing but a beat poet.
But no, we'll get on to Elon Musk in a second. But I think with your alcoholism, it's that was perfect time.
Also, you said you were going to get a beer before this podcast, and I feel like
I decided against it
because you've planned that, didn't you? You planned that. So now I literally look like I'm feeding into everything that we're saying. I mean, I'm saying the same thing.
But what people don't understand is that we've literally known each other intensely since we were 12. So I've seen this all happen. And I think when the fun stop is what I'd say.
So from your 12 years of knowing me intensely, all you could do for advice for me is repeat a government guideline. Well, I need to open a window. I'm sweating.
Okay.
Can you edit this out, please? Can you not embarrass me?
Yeah, I could leave it in though. This could be the pod, and then
also,
people would be like, who the fuck was that guy?
Well, just
that
for a
guy
second.
who just.
Do you mind if I just open?
Quite hot.
Do you mind if I just open a window? I'm sweating.
So a problem I have with the shift between us having a joint student radio podcast and moving in to us now, me being on your podcast as a guest, is that I
feel like you have way too... I'm a bit nervous about the editing control that you have.
Because I feel like half the things I say, and I'm sure the things that I'm saying right now, they'll either be dubbed in high pitch or my face will be upside down.
Will there be a cow dancing on my nose? 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 Cow dancing on my nose?
or something along those lines. Which, of course, I'll give you full creative
He knows
control.
all my tricks.
I do.
He
know
knows all my tricks.
But just use them sparingly. Don't sell out. That's all I'd say.
There's definitely editorial ethics that I don't think are covered enough in like ethical law, which is the use of sound effects and voice modifiers with comedy guests.
Yeah,
I think there should be more of it
can ruin
enshrined
lives.
kind of culture. Yeah, a culture of ethics, because you're dealing with, it can tear families apart.
Yeah, no.
If I got like a doctor on here to talk about coronavirus and I just had that dog filter on, it'd completely illegitimize what he's saying.
Yeah, like speed his voice
and I think that would be very
1.5 times, etc. And then we'll just have like waves coming. I don't know what you podcast people do. I'm a purist. Right, should we crack on?
Do you want to move on to the Boy Gone Wild?
Yeah, well let me.
Do you want to introduce your Boy Gone Wild this week?
No, I just want to plug my vaping right now. So can you just give a boy a fucking chance? Hold on.
Yeah, you actually got me into vaping, and I'll never look back. I don't think.
Well, it's because that's okay. We can talk about the alcoholism, but when you're from a family of addicted personalities, as I realised I was.
Wait, what's your mum addicted to?
Love.
Pussy. Yeah. What?
I said love.
Oh, sorry.
I said love.
So not pussy.
Hold on,
no, sorry. So your mum's addicted to love. Your dad's addicted to her.
Well, no, it doesn't mean they're addictive. Like I was recently in a room.
Your dad's addicted to musicals.
Well, they're all addicted to musicals. Let's not get into that.
Let's not get into it.
I think we can leave that for another appearance. But there are a lot of them are smokers. We've had alcoholics in the family. My granddad's addicted to
Irish.
Yeah, it's the Irish exactly. But but then on my mum's side, my granddad's addicted to cheese, and that is a genuine kind of, I'm not like, it's fucked up his throat. He nearly got throat cancer from it. So maybe not laugh. Maybe not laugh.
You can't.
Some things don't
really
sound serious, but maybe they are.
I can't.
Precancerous cells.
That's-
You're still laughing? Precancerous cells from too much cheese.
That's funny. No, it's bad, but it's not. I shouldn't laugh at it, but it doesn't mean it's not hilarious.
No, it actually is hilarious. Like, of course, it's fun. It's the best.
What's
thing
his
ever.
favourite cheese?
Annoyingly, he's one of those English people who's like, I love cheese, but
Only eats cheddar.
Yeah. Which is very lame. I'm not a big fan of it.
Okay, so you got like the alcoholic Irish side, and then you got the cheese, the cheddar
The
loving
kind of
English side.
the dairy boulders. They can't get enough of it. And
Do you want to introduce your boy gone wild this week?
yes. So my boy gone wild is Elon Musk. I'm sure you'll put.
It was only a matter of time before we got him.
Yeah, I've always
He really does epitomise a BGW.
Yeah, he really does. And I've always, when we've been discussing the pod, as you so delicately put it, is my suggestion has always been Elon, and he seems like a bait one, an obvious one. Of course he is. He's out there in the news every day, being a boy gone wild. But you can't take his achievements away from him because he's such an archetype of the boys gone wild. You
can't.
And there's a few things to focus on with him.
There's many different ways to go into a profile of Elon as a boy gone wild. So I think we just need to choose sparingly and focus heavily on some of his key wild antics.
My overall summary of Elon Musk as a boy gone wild would be...
This is like in the essay. This is the introductory paragraph.
Exactly.
In this essay, I will argue.
I will
bang,
prove
bang.
that.
Yeah.
Is essentially that Elon Musk is one of the most genius minds of the 21st century, a pioneer in technology and business. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't trust him managing my personal finances.
Not at all.
Do you see because
Yeah.
there's a disconnect between his intellect and the things that he can do with a computer and a business, and just being a generally stable human being who can function in normal society.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, because I mean that builds into one of the key themes of this podcast, which is that all boys are dumb, no matter how smart they are.
oh, is that a theme in it?
That's one of the overarching themes that has come out of Boys Gone Wild, is that boys have achieved an incredible things and have done so many great things in history, but every single boy who's ever existed is an idiot.
Yeah, no, I like
Everyone has it in them, and I think I don't think every woman is an idiot. I think there's a lot of dumb women, there's a lot of stupid women, there's a lot of idiotic women, but not every single one. But I think every single boy I've met is a dum-dum. So Elon's a great example of someone who's a genius, sure. Mind-bending genius, he's going to leave a huge mark on the world, but he's also a fucking idiot.
Well, is it some form of inevitability that the geniuses of our time are always going to falter into having incredibly odd, quirky, insane habits and personalities that they will... So is every boy destined for success naturally destined to be a boy gone wild?
These are all good questions that I'm very open to. I don't know. I'm slow. It's slowly becoming uncovered through each episode.
Yeah. Okay.
But I do think the sort of social pressures of boys to achieve something, yet also their inherent stupidity, leads to a lot of hilarious things.
Can you say that again, but do your Jordan Peterson accent?
I think women are cancer and men are the cure.
I love it. I think it's great. So as I was saying about the genius of the man that you also wouldn't trust with your own personal finances is that he's the kind of guy who...
Why wouldn't you trust him with your personal finances?
Because have you heard about the tweet that he did in lockdown?
Yeah.
But
this is not the only time his stocks have plummeted.
Well, the man says, I think Tesla's stock prices are too high, and then within 10 minutes, Tesla's value plummets by 17 billion. billion from that one tweet. So that's why
That's
I
a
wouldn't
lot of
trust
money.
him. Like I trust him like behind the scenes, like pushing the numbers through or making the technology that might well send us to Mars. But give the guy a Twitter
Fix
account.
your microwave.
Give the guy a Twitter account, and it can all fall down within a couple of tweets.
So you wouldn't, it's not level head.
Well, I don't know. No, the thing that confuses me is what is the logic behind that tweet? Why would he ever say something like that? Is he trolling? But then why would he be trolling his own company? He says like he said like there was one of his tweets recently was that this Twitter page is essentially nonsense now. It doesn't make any sense. But what do you think the point of that tweet is? Like, it's so self-detrimental, but that's why I think he's fantastic, because of how self-detrimental he can be. But why is he doing that?
Yeah, we got to remember that this is the guy who in his autobiography wrote that he has shaved down his urination time to 4 seconds, so he has more time to think of ideas and be more productive.
Is that what I feel like? He's got some of your vibes for like the stress of the podcast. I feel like you're not that far off by mitigating how long you go for a wee for.
Yeah,
just so
I
you can add another sound effect or do any of these other things you podcast people do.
Me and Elon are quite similar. I'm just doing it. He's sending people to Mars. I'm just doing a self-help podcast for young men.
No, I thought you're a symbol for all the lost men out there, aren't you?
I'm a symbol for a lot of lost men.
But in the time, so let's say he shaves his wee time to 4 seconds. Okay, great,
sure,
fantastic. So in that time, sure, he's a productive, efficient man, but he's coming up with ideas for one tweet to wipe 17 billion value off Tesla.
Yeah.
What is that? I just can't understand. Like he's a genius. He must know it's gonna absolutely wipe off so much value.
No, this is what I mean. He's a dum-dum and a genius. He can be stupid and a genius simultaneously, because when he spent his whole life, he's shaving off time for taking a piss so he can work harder at building rockets. Like, not only there's celebrities who are out of touch because they live in a mansion in LA. He has that, and he spent his whole time with machines, which means that he's in a completely different universe on 2 counts, which means that things that seem normal to him are just so strange when they come to the surface. I mean, what I respect about Elon, which is another theme of the podcast, which is when I talked about Dennis Rodman, and I haven't done an episode on Kanye, but he represents the same, which seems to be a relatively new phenomenon in the way that it's expressing itself. I guess Trump is in this category as well, which is there's now celebrity has reached a stage where the act of celebrity is the craft in itself. The act of being a known person is almost the real skill. Like Kanye, as amazing as his music is, his real skill is just his almost performance art piece.
I was going to say
his performance art piece, like celebrity narrative. The same happens with Donald Trump, where it's just
the thing
he's almost done. Donald Trump's almost like performance art with the office of presidency.
The thing is, though, because like Trump's tweets...
And Elon Musk is like that for a business owner.
Trump's tweets and Kanye's tweets work for them in that celebrity marketplace. Elon Musk's tweets wipe 17 billion off the value of his own company. My point is, I get the act of celebrity. I completely do it. It keeps your value up by being in the news, by being such a nutcase on a regular basis, of course. Yeah. But... The things that he is like with that very short sentence, it is so antithetical to his entire project as a business that I physically cannot understand why. Just the logic behind it, because it's not funny enough. I mean, it's hilarious, but it's not funny enough to be worth. It's not a 17 billion pound joke, is what I'm saying.
But what it does put out a message is, because when I listened to on the Joe Rogan podcast, because it was within the selection of tweets that he tweeted about selling his material possessions and doing all of that, he seemed that he was trying to remove a lot of the criticism leveled at like billionaires by just trying to basically be unpredictable, you know? Like, people say that billionaires own too much stuff, have too much money, and he's like, well, I'll give it all away then. Like, which is part, because I mean, a lot of people on the left think he's awful, and in many ways his views I don't agree with at all. But he is kind of playing checkmate with his critics by saying, like, oh, you think this about me? Well, how about I wipe 17 billion off my company? He now doesn't own any property, or at least he says that. He's just going to rent.
Well, yeah. Because the whole thing about... But it's just that, like, because I get I think that's referencing a lot of it's mostly referencing the tweets of him saying that he's going to sell all of his possessions, etc.
Sure.
Whereas, which again, that I get, that's a checkmate to, you know, the people who are critiquing him. Boom,
checkmate,
I'm
liberals.
Gonna do this. Scum. But he is the whole, just the statement of fact of, I think Tesla's share prices are too high. I'd love to get into his mind on what exactly that means and what exactly he's saying with it, and why would that even happen with any sense. Like, it goes against the opposite of any kind of business acumen you'd ever think of anyone would ever think of, and that's why it's just a fascinating. He's a ride that you can go on. That
it's a good point.
I, for me, never want to get off. But. This is all bullshit, because whatever, this is not as important as the greatest 21st century news story.
This is the real. That was just an amuse-bouche.
You'll never
to be honest, this is why you're on the podcast, is to talk about this event, really. We often talk about these sort of things, but this one really stuck with you. It was a real, like, quite a special moment for you.
Oh no! It's categorically the best news story in the 21st century.
We all have our own special stories, and this definitely for you was really connected to this one.
Yeah, mostly was because of the outrage about his actions. It was palpable. I remember talking to my mum and David about it, and they were going, "Oh, have you heard what Elon Musk said?" And it was
David's Andrew's stepdad. He comes from a divorced family, two homes, two
dads. But he,
but one heart.
There was like, oh, did you hear this terrible thing? And I interpreted it in the complete opposite way and thought it was hilarious. So there was, to cast your minds back to where there were school children stuck in a Thai cave, potentially, you know, gonna die.
I think you said that with the wrong sort of phonetics. You said Thai cave as if it's like a thing. Stuck in a Thai cave as if it's like a common type of cave. There were some kids stuck in a Thai cave. In a cave in Thailand. Sorry, you said it with too much. You've been too entranced in this story that you said that with too much confidence.
I think I've said it too many times that you've got to like entertain yourself.
Colloquialised. So it was in a Thai cave. So yeah, there I was in a Thai cave.
I see what you mean. I'll start again. Sorry, it's your show. I don't want to offend you.
No, don't worry. I enjoyed it. That was great.
There were school children, stuck in a cave in Thailand. Happy?
There we go.
Good. So I just want to remind you of the fact that these are school children who are stuck.
You guys remember this news story? It was a big story, yeah.
They were stuck in a cave. These school children were stuck in a cave. They were maybe going to die in this cave. And there is a group of professionals there who, I guess, professionals in child cave rescue, who were there to rescue the children from the cave.
The best minds in that space.
Yeah. You know, and it's a niche space, but they still managed to. They still managed to find the best and brightest. Yeah. There's how I imagine the story is. I mean, it caught global attention. It's a huge story worldwide, and I kind of imagine there's a team assembled to rescue these kids. You know, no one wants kids to die in a cave. I think that's something that left and right and everyone can agree with. That's a boys gone wild.
There's no popular political movement that
kids should die in
the cave. It's one of the uniting factors across the political spectrum.
No, yeah, which is why this story has such resonance amongst the nation. You know what? There is no one rooting for the kids not to get out of the cave.
got on the BBC. You've got to give both sides the story, because that's one of the funny things about balanced
Anti-cavers.
news sources. No, because it's true. Because the problem with the BBC is so set on like their fundamental principles is balance, but what that leads to is that whenever they have a ridiculous story where it's very clear what the right answer is, they have to find people who are against it.
Yeah.
And so it creates
Yeah.
this sort of false equivalency where you have like a 50-50.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see them having
on the one hand, there's a good argument for suggesting we should rescue these however many children from this dark cave where they could die. But Dave from Guildford says, let the fuckers die. So I get it, it's impartial. But I think we can generally say there was a consensus around that the kids should be rescued from the cave.
For sure.
And so there was a couple of people, including a British person, who was part of this cave.
Which is the most important part of the story. Yeah,
exactly.
One of our boys.
Rule Britannia rules the waves. But they were trying to work out this very intricate path along the cave, because it was like you had to go in and out of waters, and it was like because they got trapped in there when a high tide came in. I don't know the
Can you not do so much technical jargon? not everyone's as versed in Thai caves as you are.
So tides are these things in the water, though. To be honest, I'm kind of trying to avoid the technicalities of it because I haven't done that much research. I just know the basic understanding of it. But
they're in a cave. There's kids in Thailand in a cave. What do you want? What more do you want?
What I want is Elon Musk trying to send. So actually, I still need to finish it. So the problem was they had to navigate a difficult course of professional scuba divers, essentially, who would then be able to have enough air to then go in and go and rescue these kids. I know we're facing some problems, which is worldwide on the news. So what Elon Musk does is he sends a child-sized submarine to the Thai cave.
One child.
No,
because I guess you can go back. You can go back and forth. Yeah, sorry. Once again, I didn't think that through.
I'm not saying Elon said save one of them. There's only one.
Sorry, immediately. I thought that was was one of the points you were making.
He's
you
not
said child as if you were shot. Sorry, that was my bad.
No. Again, you're having a lot of problems with the inflections of my sentences.
Yeah, I am. It's really sending me off.
It would be nice. Basically, there was the British man who was part of the Thai cave team to save the kids.
God save the Queen.
The British man said that this is essentially a useless piece of equipment, and Elon can shove it, where.
Up his jacksie.
So then, now
what did he say? Did he say deep in his anus?
No. He said he knows where. You know where. I think again, research.
Probably up his jacksie.
No, don't have it on my notes. He was public.
Where did he say to shove it up Elon Musk? No, I didn't. I don't have these in my notes. We'll take a brief intermission.
No, he said maybe where. It could be where the sun don't shine. Could be where your mother. No, it couldn't be anything to do with that.
Where your mother what?
Where your mother goes.
That's more of an insult.
Why? I was in because his mum sodomizes her.
To Elon, because he's like, your mum. Not only can you show out your ass, but you get sodomized.
But your mum's been there. Yeah.
Or another option is that him saying that reveals something about him, that he gets sodomized by his mum so regularly and systematically that he thinks it's the norm. So he thinks it's a saying when talking about your anus as talking about where your mum likes to go.
Which would add some argument and evidence to the whole Elon Musk side of this, but we still need to get there. So
sure.
Elon.
These are for other episodes. These sort of conspiracy theories on the side. I apologise for taking you off course.
It's okay. So the British man. Let's just remember the fact that this was a man who saved kids from caves. Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially, the story is. British man who saves kids from caves says the equipment that Elon Musk sent to the cave was redundant. Elon Musk replies, "You're a pedo." That's all we need to know. Like the British cave diving Thai hero might have said some things in the press about Elon Musk because he said it was a PR stunt, whatever. You know, he said some things, but at the end of the day, the man saved kids from a cave.
Sure.
Elon sends a child-sized submarine that was useless, and then calls the man a pedo. He said, "You're a pedo guy. You're a pedo guy." And then, now I will get my notes up. It then went to court. So the man who saved kids from a cave in Thailand.
Wait, so one sec. So Elon's basically implying that the only reason the guy saves kids from caves is so he can sexually abuse them.
So that's one theory. The other theory that
Sure.
we could go for would be, I think is the more strong theory, is that he is suggesting that any British expat living in Thailand likes ladyboys and young ones. That's, I think, what he's going for.
Okay.
Which is...
Okay. That's a bit more reasonable, because I have heard
I'm not
that.
sure. I haven't come on this podcast to empathise with Elon Musk's narrative here.
Well, look, none of us have been to Thailand, so I guess we'll leave it.
I've been to Thailand.
Oh, you did go to Thailand?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Pedos?
Not that I saw of, but then again, I didn't see any cave
It was a
rescuers either. Nor did I see
You're
any
there
caves.
you're only there for a short trip
Couple
as well.
of days,
So
yeah, couple of days.
so you wouldn't have time to soak up the culture fully.
So, the case went to court, and the man who saved children from caves sued Elon Musk for defamation in court.
Within his rights.
Yeah, well, of course.
He's a British citizen.
And there was an odd back and forth between the two, where Elon took the stand, and apparently he took the stand for about 2 hours and testified for about 2 hours, and no one quite
Personally.
Yeah.
So like Hitler did. Sorry, I don't want to confuse the message I'm trying to send out. I mean, Hitler in his first court case when the Munich Putsch, he personally defended himself instead of getting a lawyer, and that was part of the build up to his support in 1930s Germany.
Can we try and focus on One Boy Gone Wild?
Yeah, sorry.
So in this case, a quote from Elon is so when the pedo guy said that he can stick his submarine where the sun don't shine, where his mother been, whatever he said, so Elon said, well, I assume he didn't mean to sodomize me with a submarine, just as I didn't literally mean he was a pedophile. So that is essentially the kind of the basis of the legal argument that they were going for. You know, Twitter is a place of tongue-in-cheek, maybe sarcastic comments. You're saying what you didn't mean. But then the defense brought up the fact that another Twitter user messaged Elon saying, like, calling him up on it, saying, well, what's your evidence for this? Like, I think this is a ridiculous thing to say, you know.
But he's ready to hear evidence.
Exactly.
Which I like as well.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like, I'm not saying this man who saves children from caves isn't a paedophile. I just would like
But let's hear
to know if there's some substance in it.
Sharpening his pitchfork. Let's just hear it out first.
Elon's reply, bet you a signed dollar it's true. Bet ya a signed dollar it's true. So the defense obviously brought that up and said, well, clearly you did believe there was a certain amount of truth in it. But Elon Musk...
Because you wouldn't bet a signed dollar. Yeah.
No, exactly. You know, if Elon Musk is betting a signed dollar, it's a sure bet. And so but basically he lost the court. The guy lost the defamation case. Elon walked free because I think that was, I guess, it's kind of on the basis of an argument of how can you say that a tweet that you're saying. It's an interesting thing as well. How the words that you say online when you're doing an off the cuff tweet. How can you say that's defamation? Because then that applies to so many other things on the internet and social media. That how can you, if you make a case for Elon Musk saying that it's defamation by him calling another man a paedophile? How do you hold that up in a court of law? Basically, where does that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's just part of the how I do not feel envious at all of Elon's life because it just seems such a crazy place. Imagine waking up, putting your tie on to go to court because you called someone a pedo on Twitter.
Well, there's so much. The farcical nature of him is why I think he is a very good boy gone wild.
Yeah, for sure.
Because just every single thing, the man's sending 2 people into space today. Can we just the dichotomies between him of, we're talking about the fact that he called a man a pedo and then said on Twitter to someone who asked for evidence, "I bet you $1 it's true." Yeah. So we're going to be able to see over the UK tonight him flying 2 people into space on the first privately manned space trip ever in human history.
Yeah. It'd be funny if he was sending pedos up there. Don't know why.
Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe that's what he'll send them up and he'll say, by the way, they were both pedos. 2 less of them in the world. That's his whole Mars project as well. It's just to get rid of the pedos.
He's just waiting until it's out of the Earth. Okay, they're gone now. They were both pedos.
By the way, we've cut the engines. They're just orbiting now.
They're both pedos. They're stuck there for a long time. But it'd be funny as well if they're not pedos. They're just other child cave specialists, and he's just getting his own back.
So yeah, well, maybe that was the whole. Maybe for Elon, it's a worse insult to say that you're a child cave specialist rather than a paedophile, and this is all kind of been developed.
Maybe he was. One. Maybe as a child he was molested by a child cave specialist. In the film Musk is what I'd probably call it, to be more powerful. You know, in like powerful biopics, you call them like Capote and stuff like that.
Caps lock space across the screen kind of thing.
Musk. Yeah. I think I'd do an origin story. And people might say, yeah, but it didn't happen. Yes, but metaphorically, I think it did happen. You know,
Wait, what didn't happen?
I'd take some creative. I'm about to explain. This is how the film opens.
Oh, you're setting it up. Okay.
Elon Musk is stuck in a cave.
Sure, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm liking it. It's dark. It's dank.
So Elon Musk is stuck in the cave, or it shows his real life, him tweeting, him making rockets, but he keeps having having these flashbacks to him as a child stuck in a cave, sort of like a Bruce Wayne type thing, you know, when he was stuck down that well. And then the people who come to save him are child cave specialists, because they're the people who'd won.
Yeah, of course. Who else do you call?
Yeah, exactly. And then they molest him in the cave.
How vivid are you thinking for this scene?
I'd say, because it's an art house project, I would not show it or be too gratuitous.
But you'd hear it. Hear it.
Yeah. Take away. Yeah, just hear it. 20 minutes. Yeah. Of just audio.
Yeah. Okay. No, I can.
Admittedly, when I started the pitch, I thought a lot more ideas would come.
But it mainly revolved around space and cave molestation.
When it started rolling, the pitch quickly lost steam. I don't know. I've normally been quite good at making up pitches, but it didn't get much past the idea that he was molested in a cave by child cave specialists.
Well, that's the thing, because the problem with the Elon Musk
he
story
made
is
a company
is to try and complicate it. At the end of the day, it's simple. The man was molested in a cave as a child. And that's why
Why is everyone always trying to look for these grey areas? The world's more black and white than you think. Elon Musk was molested by pedos in a cave.
Let's just all move on.
Another bit of evidence is his first company was called The Boring Company. Do you know about this?
I do.
Which was a company that just dug big holes. Why is he digging big holes? To get back to the cave he was molested.
Did it just dig big holes? Again, I haven't done much research on the guy.
No, the Boring Company, it's a joke, because the Boring Company implies boring, but boring as in boring holes in the ground. And the whole point of the Boring Company was to bore the deepest hole in the world.
Was it just that? I thought I read that it had a lot more of a technological kind of aspect to it, rather than just digging the biggest hole in the ground. I'm not sure how much profit.
I don't know for sure, but you're definitely wrong and I'm definitely right.
Yeah, no, that's the consensus we generally arrive at. Whether that be mutual or not.
I'm gonna strongly say, with no evidence, that I know this is true.
I'm here for it.
I don't know why. I really haven't read enough on it, but I'm convinced
that Elon Musk
that he did it. Just
created a company just to dig the biggest hole in the ground.
The biggest hole. Yeah, I'm convinced of it.
The thing is, I've come on this podcast to talk about Elon Musk, and I can't say you're not wrong.
That's the problem.
I think at the end of the day, we're both winners.
Yeah.
And we'll just, we'll go from there.
There's the illusion of balance in this podcast, is what I like.
Oh,
But,
yeah, of course. It's just two people throwing poo at a wall at the end of the day and seeing what
Back with the poo stuff.
what sticks.
It just gets me. Yeah.
But
yeah, go on.
No, I'm just thinking. Unless you got something, actually, this is a fantastic fact.
Because we're wrapping up soon, so I've got one last thing, but you go on.
You know the woman from the Special K cereal box? Just say yes.
Oh, the laughing woman in
Sure.
a red dress.
Sure. That was once Elon Musk's mum.
There's a couple of things to unpack, Drew, and I feel the way that you didn't respond when I said the one in the red dress. There's lots of women on the Special K box.
Yeah, of course there is, but I'm trying to... Yeah, I know, but for the purpose of the
Trying
joke,
to
it's like,
jizz it
the
up.
woman. Yeah, I'm trying to... Stop saying... I'm trying to jazz it up, sure. I'm not trying to jizz in
One of
anyone's
the women
shoes
on the
here.
Special K. Because, okay, so one of the red dress summer body women was Elon Musk's mum.
Yeah. Thank you for making
You
that,
really
know.
don't...
I'm trying to make it exciting. I'm on your podcast. Let's make a joke out
you
of
know-
it. Do we have to... We clearly haven't been sticking to the facts for the entirety of this episode, so let's just... Let me jazz it up a little bit towards the end.
What? The only woman who's ever been on a Special K box is always Elon Musk's mum.
I never said only ever. I said, know
Okay.
the woman from the
The
Special
one.
K box. Yeah, the woman.
Is she in the adverts?
She was on the South
Where
African
did you
version.
find this?
She was on the South African version of the Special K box. Because she's a South African, she used to be a South African model.
Oh, she's a proper hottie. Is she a 101 hottie?
I don't really objectify like that, but it's cool. If
No,
is
if
that
you're a
what you-
model, it's good to compliment them.
Can
It's
you
like
stop?
calling a comedian-
Also,
it's-
what's this whole pointing in the gun and shooting? Like,
I'm a content cowboy.
annoyingly, I know how well that's going to edit in. Which is why... Like, I want to hate it, but you just can't.
You can't. Sound effects. Simple but effective. Like Elon. No, there's nothing there. I took a jump, but didn't work.
Much like
The segues.
Musk. Though.
But I think to round it up, what my personal, what I find quite interesting about Elon is there is a whole school of thought on climate change. You speak to people on climate change, and there's like, everyone has a kind of semi-different approach. People think we should be super radical about it. People think there's a way to integrate it into capitalism, Then there's a whole group of people who basically say, they don't deny it. Like, there's a group that deny climate change. They say, yes, climate change is happening. The science is right. But let's not do anything about it because I'm pretty sure Elon Musk will find out a solution. Like, that's a genuine belief of quite a lot of even respected, right, the Telegraph. But like, there's a whole school of people who,
Make sure you get the satire in there. Just one.
because in America you have people who just flat out deny climate change, but then there's literally, you can speak to fairly reasonable people who are like, yes, it's definitely happening, but what if Elon gets like a kind of machine that sort of like, sucks all the stuff out the air and it stops being
that's the most
bad and that.
That's the most convenient. That's the most convenient answer that you could possibly have, because if we don't have to change anything that we're doing as a society, instead,
Nothing at all.
The mavericks that push forward our capitalist ideology will be able to sort out the problems that the ideology has created for itself.
Hallelujah!
Hallelujah, Jesus! But maybe the man who calls, child kid saver, child caveman. What were we calling? Child cave.
Child cave rescue specialist.
Maybe a man who calls a child cave rescue specialist a paedophile on Twitter isn't that person who's going to do that.
Yeah,
Or-
maybe it's not, because there is a chance that Elon will come up with the idea, but I think staking the destruction of the whole civilized society as we know it and the whole planet as a whole on a guy who calls people pedos on Twitter seems to be a big leap of faith on my part.
I mean, I'm not sure it would stand up in any kind of debate.
Look, we're destroying the forests at a rampant rate. We can't carry on to like 100 years more of this. We could leave.
Elon. We've got
Yeah, but
Elon.
what if Elon makes like a sort of like this kind of robot thing
Like
that
a
is on
massive
the
Hoover.
ozone? like a big thing
Hoover,
that goes
a
in the
big
sky.
Hoover.
I'm not a scientist, but like imagine
like a
a
fridge,
flying
a fridge.
Zumba, and then it
big
sucks
fridge
up all
fridge,
and they're like, yeah, but what about deforestation or like environmental damages to indigenous cultures? Yeah, but what if like Elon got like a sort of made the trees, but they're new trees, and that, you know.
And then like fake trees that are trees, and then they planted other trees when you like multiply them by 4.
What about that?
What about
So-
that? What about that? So
but
just
like
just back it.
But on the BBC, you've got to have balanced debate. So they'd probably just have like someone saying we need to fucking cut down carbon emissions. People saying we just need to wait for
We just need to give Elon Musk more
Elon
money,
to make the industrial Zumba.
which is absolute
Rumba?
fucking. Which is actually
You
why
know
you keep
those?
saying no Zumba. All I understand is like a popular form of
It's a
fitness exercise.
Exercise class. Rumba.
Yeah, I know Zumba. So why? So you're saying
Rumba.
Elon Musk is going to send herds of middle class women up into the sky to do like routines to samba?
Look, the problem is that's a hilarious thing, and I sort of part of me wishes I. Sorry, it's not coming through. Hello? Oh fuck it. Part of me wishes I did say that, but no, I
Yeah.
meant Roomba. You know what a Roomba is?
No, I don't.
The moving
Tell me.
Hoover, that little disc that moves around hoovering stuff.
The disc that moves around a hoovering stuff.
Yeah. Okay, if you don't know that, I thought that was a pretty like a watertight reference. We've gone over time. Do you have any closing statements?
No.
Anywhere
Do you
anyone
want
can
me to
find
have
you?
it? Yeah.
No, you can. You can wrap it up. It's just I'm just saying like let's
uh,
wind it down. Let's fade out the tunes.
Let's wind it down. It's if you want to check out my stand-up on the streets. No, you know what? You can't check me out anywhere on the internet. If you wanna check me out, I live at 4 Elm Tree Close, Hassocks, BN6 8AU. Come and knock at my door. Let's have a coffee.
He's the everyman's comedian.
I'm the everyman's comedian. No, yeah, that's well. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
No problem, man. It's been great getting back on the old horse. If you are like, where the fuck can I see more of these guys? Well, we do have 3 years of student radio logged and on YouTube on the Gordon Kirwan Show. Yeah. Okay, and that's been Boys Gone Wild. Thank you for coming, Andrew.
It's been a pleasure.
And stay safe, stay alert, think
Stay
big,
tuned.
work smart.
Oh, sorry, I ruined that for you.